You already know the truth. You just don't know why. That first spark in your mind, that quiet certainty before the noise sets in. Virgo, it's not chance. It's a signal, a language only your soul understands. And yet, how many times have you buried it under logic, only to watch life prove you right? There's a hidden reason you sense things before they happen. And if you stay with me, you'll discover the secret the stars have been trying to tell you all along. The world is a noisy place. Not just the noise of engines, voices, and screens, but the subtler noise of opinions, doubts, and unspoken expectations pressing in from every side. Yet somewhere beneath that constant hum, Virgo carries a whisper. It is not dramatic, not loud, not demanding. It is the whisper that appears before the thought, before the plan, before the long analysis begins. It is the first instinct, the quiet knowing that says, "This is the truth, this is the path." Virgo's gift begins with an innate pattern recognition, so precise, it feels almost supernatural. Without trying, they notice the way a person's tone shifts on a single word, the slight delay before an answer, the way numbers align or falter in a spreadsheet. The world is constantly offering clues, and Virgo reads them before others even know they exist. This is why their first instinct is rarely guesswork. It is the sum of 1,000 tiny pieces snapping into place in an instant. This is aided by a rare emotional neutrality at first glance. While others leap toward excitement or fear, Virgo's initial take is clean. They are the calm observer before the storm of overthinking begins. In that first moment, they can weigh reality without the weight of bias. That neutrality is what makes their gut feeling so pure. It is unclouded by ego or fear. And then, anchoring it all there, is Virgo's grounded earth element. While some instincts are flighty, born of impulse or wishful thinking, Virgos are rooted in the soil of lived experience. Their first instinct is not a leap into the air, it is a step onto solid ground. The earth within them insists on evidence, on what can be seen, touched, and tested. When they feel something is right or wrong, it is because their whole being, mind, body, and spirit, has measured it against reality. Yet Virgo doesn't simply guess at life. They listen to the whisper because it is built on a lifetime of noticing. It is not mystical in the way of lightning bolts from the heavens. It is mystical in the way seeds sprout quiet, unseen, inevitable. The whisper beneath the noise is not a single spark, but the light reflected from countless small observations. If you are a Virgo, you have felt it before the flash of knowing, before the words come. The instant understanding when a room feels off, the certainty about someone's trustworthiness from a single glance. And you have also felt the frustration of ignoring it, of letting logic or fear drown out that first voice, only to discover later that it was right all along. This first instinct is not simply a talent. It is the soul's way of preserving you. It is the compass designed specifically for your path. And in a world where noise is constant and distraction is currency, your ability to hear, it is not just rare, it is sacred. Virgo's journey is not to create the whisper, but to honor it, to protect it from the static, to let it speak in moments when others are still searching for their bearings. Because long before the world tells you what to do, you already know. Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods, has always been your ruler, not as a distant celestial figure, but as a frequency running through your entire being. It is the quicksilver thread connecting your mind to the pulse of the world. When you trust your first instinct, you are not leaping into the unknown blindly. You are answering Mercury's call. This planet doesn't speak in paragraphs or lengthy explanations. It delivers its wisdom in flashes, a half-formed thought, a sudden clarity, an image that makes perfect sense before you can explain why. This is the fast processing of Mercury at work. While others may need to gather and weigh data over days, you can grasp the essence in seconds. Your first instinct often holds more truth than hours of deliberation, because it captures reality before it's bent by overthinking. Mercury hands you the message sealed and intact, but hesitation is the enemy. The longer you wait, the more the seal loosens, and the pureness of that insight begins to scatter. Paired with this is your refined discernment, honed through a lifetime of seeing what others miss. You know the difference between a gut feeling, born of clarity, and one born of fear. You can tell when a detail is a true signal or just background noise. This discernment is not accidental. It's the outcome of your constant analysis, your willingness to study the world in detail. When the moment comes for a decision, your mind doesn't start from zero. It draws from a deep reservoir of tested observations. And then there is cosmic timing, the mutable quality of Virgo, that allows you to pivot and adapt without losing stability. Your first instinct often arises in the precise window when action matters most. It isn't just about what you know, but when you know it. In astrology, mutable signs are the bridges between seasons, and you, Virgo, are the one who knows when it is time to shift course. That instinctive pivot is often the difference between an opportunity seized and an opportunity lost. Mercury's language is subtle, but you have been fluent in it since birth. Think of how many times you've had the feeling to send a message at just the right moment, to avoid a place for reasons you couldn't explain, to change course only to discover you sidestepped a problem entirely. These are not coincidences. They are Mercury's whispers, quick and fleeting, easy to dismiss if you do not act. Trusting your first instinct is about honoring the speed and precision of your ruling planet. Mercury doesn't linger. It flies past wings, flashing in the sun, delivering the truth to you in the split second where it can still change the outcome. And for Virgo, that moment is everything. You are not simply lucky when your instinct is right. You are wired to be right because Mercury is always listening, always observing, always relaying the purest signal. The question is never whether the message is true. It is whether you will answer it before it fades. Every Virgo carries within them a living library, not of books, but of impressions. The soft flicker in someone's eyes when they lie, the way the air feels before a storm, the faint shift in a friend's voice when they're hiding something. These moments don't vanish. They are cataloged in you, stored in a vast inner archive that you may not even consciously realize you're building. This is your sensory intelligence, an instinct that draws on countless micro-observations, building a map of reality so detailed it becomes its own form of guidance. When your first instinct speaks, it's drawing from this archive. It is not a random hunch, it is the distilled result of every small thing you've ever noticed. In a single instant, your mind can match what's in front of you with something you've encountered before, and the pattern snaps into place. This is why Virgo's first impressions are so often accurate. You are comparing the present against a lifetime of stored truth. There is also your embodied awareness, the way truth lives in your body. Before it reaches your thoughts, you feel it in your skin, in the slight tightening of your chest, in the way your breath changes. Your body reacts faster than your mind can name the reason. Scientists might call this subconscious processing. Mystics might call it a soul signal. But either way, it is real. And for Virgo, it is a finely tuned instrument. You notice the discomfort of wrongness as surely as you feel the ease of rightness. And your first instinct is the body's way of telling you which is which. Layered over this is your ability to read human energy. You catch the subtle dissonance between words and tone, between a smile and the eyes that don't match it. You can sense when someone's intentions are out of alignment with their actions. This is not about judgment, it's about resonance. You know when someone's energy harmonizes with truth and when it does not. Often you know it in the very first second. The craft of discernment is not built in grand revelations. It's built in the quiet repetition of paying attention. Day after day, you collect these fragments of truth, polishing them until they become instinct. And when that instinct rises, it is not a vague feeling. It is the sum of countless verifications. This is why trusting it is not reckless. It is the most informed decision you can make. Still, Virgo sometimes forgets that this inner database is worth more than external advice. In a world obsessed with expert opinions and endless options, it is easy to override your own knowing. But the truth is, no one has walked your exact path seen what you've seen, felt what you've felt. No one else has your archive. And so, when your instinct stirs, it is speaking from a place only you can access. When you act from that place, you are not gambling. You are drawing from the deepest well of your own lived wisdom. And when you honor it, life begins to feel less like a maze and more like a clear, open path you were meant to walk all along. For all of Virgo's gifts, there is a shadow, and it often comes disguised as responsibility. You want to get it right, to be thorough, to make sure nothing is overlooked. That devotion to excellence is one of your greatest strengths, but it can also become the very thing that buries your truth. The pursuit of perfection can turn into a maze of overthinking, where your first instinct, clear and pure, becomes tangled in a web of what ifs and maybe I should check again. In those moments, you forget your self-protective insight, the one that warns you about the subtle danger in a business deal, the quiet red flag in a relationship, the faint shift in an environment that says, something isn't right here. Your gut tries to speak, but the perfectionist in you wants more proof. You gather more data, consult more sources, and by the time you feel ready to decide, the moment of protection has passed. Then there is efficiency in decision-making, something your first instinct naturally provides. In its unfiltered form, your gut allows you to move swiftly, conserving energy and time. But when the shadow takes over, you enter a loop, evaluating, re-evaluating, questioning. Hours or days later, you arrive back at the very conclusion your instinct gave you at the start. The lost time isn't just inconvenient, it drains your vitality, making you second-guess the next choice even more. Perhaps, most importantly, ignoring your instinct can dull your healing instincts, the ones that know where the real problem lies, whether in a project, a person, or your own heart. Virgo's role as the healer and helper is not just about offering solutions. It's about diagnosing the root cause. Your first instinct is often startlingly accurate at finding that root, even if you can't articulate it yet. But when you silence that voice, you risk treating symptoms instead of curing the illness, whether literal or metaphorical. Overthinking offers the illusion of safety, but it is a cage. It keeps you in constant motion without ever moving forward. The irony is that your first instinct already has the safety you seek because it's built from your history of accuracy, your intimate knowledge of how the world works, and your finely tuned inner compass. Learning to trust that instinct means making peace with the idea that certainty is not the same as truth. Certainty demands proof, time, repetition. Truth often arrives in a flash, unprovable in the moment, but revealed over time to have been right all along. Virgo's growth lies in learning to step into that flash, to act, while the knowing is fresh, to let the mind serve the instinct, rather than the other way around. When you do, the shadow loosens its grip, decisions come faster, protection becomes second nature, and your healing abilities sharpen to their fullest potential. And that is when you discover that trusting your first instinct is not a reckless leap. It's the most precise step you can take. History is filled with Virgos who didn't just think their way to greatness, they felt their way there, trusting an inner compass that spoke before logic had time to interfere. They understood that their instinct was not a wild guess, but a finely calibrated tool, shaped by the same qualities that define the sign: precision, service, and discernment. Consider Mother Teresa, a Virgo, whose service-oriented nature was never about abstract ideals, but about responding in the moment to real human need. She didn't wait for committees or long-term plans. When she saw suffering, her first instinct was to act. That immediacy allowed her to bring relief in places where hesitation would have meant loss. Her choices were born of the same Virgoan urge you carry to serve what is right now. Or think of Agatha Christie, the Virgo mind, that became one of the most widely read authors in history. Her track record of accuracy was not limited to plot twists. It was in her ability to read the human psyche, to sense what readers would suspect, what they would miss, and when to reveal the truth. This was instinct woven into craft, sharpened by an almost surgical precision. A reminder that Virgo's gut is not separate from their skill, but the heartbeat of it. Even in the realm of science, there is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, a Virgo polymath whose instinct led him to challenge the prevailing Newtonian theory of color. He trusted his alignment with his authentic self, even when it meant standing against dominant scientific opinion. He knew that his own observations were valid, even if they weren't yet recognized by the broader establishment. For Virgo, authenticity is not a luxury, it is the foundation upon which instinct stands. These examples share something profound. They prove that Virgo's first instinct is not random, but rooted in lived experience, deep observation, and moral clarity. And when it is acted upon, it can change the course of events for one person, a community, or the entire world. It's important to see that these figures were not fearless in the absence of doubt. They faced the same inner tug of war that you do, the temptation to overthink, to refine endlessly, to wait until every question is answered. But they acted while their instinct was still alive, before it faded into the fog of too many possibilities. For you, Virgo, their lives are reminders that your first instinct is more than a feeling, it is a calling. When you sense the right path in a heartbeat, you are standing in the same stream of truth that guided them. And when you follow it, you align yourself with the lineage of those who used their knowing, not only to advance themselves, but to serve the greater good. The truth is, the world needs more of that kind of courage. The courage to say, I know this is right, and to move before the moment slips away. Because in the hands of a Virgo, the first instinct is never just about you. It's about the ripple it sends outward, touching lives you may never even see. There comes a point in every Virgo's life when the question is no longer, do I know enough to act, but rather, will I honor the knowing I already have? Trusting your first instinct is not just about decisions. It's about living in harmony with the deepest truth of who you are. When you say yes to that instant clarity, you are saying yes to yourself. You are choosing the path where your mind, body, and spirit move as one. To do this is to weave together all 15 reasons you've carried within you from the beginning. Your innate pattern recognition 1 and sensory intelligence 3 catch what others miss. Mercury's fast processing 2 delivers truth before the noise sets in, while your grounded earth element 6 keeps that truth practical and real. Your emotional neutrality at first glance 4 ensures clarity, and your refined discernment 8 separates the signal from the static. Your embodied awareness 7 and ability to read human energy 13 anchor you in subtle reality, while your self-protective insight 9 shields you from harm. You save precious time with efficiency in decision-making 10 and your healing instincts 14 go straight to the root of any problem. Your service-oriented nature 5 and alignment with authentic self 11 ensure your choices serve both truth and integrity. Your track record of accuracy 12 confirms what your heart already knows, and your cosmic timing 15 places you exactly where you need to be, exactly when it matters most. When all of these threads are woven together, the result is a tapestry of trust, not blind faith, but a deep, unshakable confidence in your own inner compass. This is what makes the act of trusting your first instinct sacred. It is the point where self-awareness meets self-acceptance, where your gifts are not just recognized, but lived. The challenge, of course, is that the world will try to pull you away from this trust. It will tempt you with more data, more opinions, more reasons to delay. But the truth is, your instinct will rarely shout. It will whisper once and wait. If you turn away, it will not argue. But if you listen, if you act, you will discover a life of more ease, more alignment, and more impact than you imagined. This is not just for your own benefit. When a Virgo moves with clarity, the whole world benefits. Your choices ripple outward through your work, your relationships, your acts of service, touching lives in ways you may never witness. In this way, trusting your first instinct becomes not only a personal practice, but a gift to the collective. So, let this be your vow, to listen sooner, to act faster, to believe that the first moment of knowing is the purest moment you will ever have. Do not wait for the noise to confirm what the silence already told you. If you have felt this truth in your own life, if you have known the quiet relief of acting in alignment with your first instinct, share your story. Let others see how your trust became their blessing. And if these words have awakened something in you, let them guide you forward. Subscribe, stay close, and keep walking the path of your own knowing. The stars are speaking, Mercury is speaking, and so is the part of you that has always known the way.